In the vegan wars of 2019, today's episode would be called Dr. Fuhrman Strikes Back. We have here a compelling but brief article from Dr. Fuhrman that challenges and overturns many of the most important allegations made by Jeff Nelson. Jeff Nelson is also known as Vegsource. Now, in my earlier video that on this time zone was just yesterday that I made commenting on this, I basically said at one point, look, I've had my own conflicts with Jeff Nelson, but I'm setting that aside here, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that this is a sincere and factual conflict over scientific claims, over the process of how peer-reviewed literature is presented, and, both directly and indirectly, but the ways in which the profit motive tends to warp both diet and weight loss advice and vegan activism. And those are all issues I sincerely care about. What I learned today in looking at this article coming from Dr. Fuhrman is that the opposite is true. What I should have done is put my own negative experience with Jeff Nelson front and center. And I should have said, look, this is a guy I know lies. This is a guy I know to be untrustworthy. This is a guy I know to be unscrupulous and brazen and to be a drama monger. And so, you know, what he says now, no matter how ostensibly trustworthy about peer-reviewed medical literature, I have to look at it in the context of the negative experience I've had with him myself. I didn't do that. Jeff, Vegsource, I gave you the benefit of the doubt, and I shouldn't have. You're a scumbag. You're a piece of garbage. Spoilers! Don't worry, we'll get into the details in just a moment. This is an interesting and memorable day for me to be recording this video. I'm not upset about it. I really tend to do my weeping in advance. When I have a kind of horrible challenge or struggle in my life, I tend to do the agonizing and the emoting before the struggle, and then when it actually happens, when the day of the event comes, I'm not so upset. But today was the upsetting day when we went to the hospital and found out why Jeff Nelson's diet does not work for my girlfriend. Now, when I say Jeff Nelson's diet, I mean the diet that he and his daughters, Nina and Randa, are supporting, a diet that's made our lives miserable for the last 6 months. And some of the claims in the diet are 100% scientific. Some of the claims are really just recycled from other well-known vegan doctors like Dr. McDougall, which, by the way, does not make them infallible. Dr. McDougall has been wrong. Dr. Greger has been wrong. These are all human beings. They're all imperfect, and it's worthy of criticism and so on, their approach to these things. But once in a while, he just gets into bro science. And one of the most bro science claims of all that Jeff Nelson is pushing, and that, again, he is profiting from. He and his daughters, this is their family business, promoting this book, and they go on tours, and they give rock concerts, they play their instruments and all this crap. It's, you guys are running a 3-ring circus around this diet, Jeff. So for you to say Dr. Fuhrman is profit motivated and you're not, I don't know. There's altruism all around, and there's also the influence of the profit motive all around. People say I've got the profit motive, and I put up every month exactly how little money I make out of YouTube. So if anyone here is not being warped by the profit motive, in my case, I'm making a lot less money from this video than I think Jeff Nelson would make from selling one book. I don't know how much he makes from selling one book. Maybe it's one book, maybe it's 10. But hey, he also is selling diet books. He is also part of this 3-ring circus. But anyway, one of the most bro science claims of all in that 3-ring circus, Jeff, Nina, and Randa, you claim that it doesn't matter whether or not your acne is hormonal acne. It doesn't matter the cause of the acne in that sense. It doesn't matter, shall we say, the etiology of your acne. Their diet is going to cure your acne. And from the first time I read that, I scoffed. It seemed to me completely ridiculous. Acne is a symptom, and it can be a symptom of many different underlying conditions, including, in Western society, you may just have a peanut allergy and not know it. You may respond badly to nuts giving you acne, and then you try this diet, and your acne disappears. And of course, you're going to attribute that effect to whatever the phony reasoning is set out for you in the book. And that's not a true cause and effect relationship, scientifically speaking. No, the reality is you eliminated nuts from your diet, so you got this beneficial result. Hormonal acne acne caused by a hormonal disorder is very, very fundamentally different than acne caused by an allergic an allergic reaction to nuts. And I got to tell you something. In this couple, me and my girlfriend, between the two of us, we're examples of both. If I eat peanuts or peanut oil, I will get acne. I'll get redness in my skin and other kind of reactions to the peanut oil. And most of the time on this channel, I either have no acne or maybe there's one zit somewhere. It's caused by something else in my diet. And my girlfriend, we have confirmed today, she talked to 3 different specialists at the hospital. She got tests done. She's going to make her own videos talking about it. But her acne was caused by serious underlying hormonal problems. And you cannot solve that with Nina and Randa's diet. She is living proof. Long story short, her skin condition did not get better on that diet. It got worse. Okay. And now we return to the controversy of Dr. Fuhrman's response to Campbell/Nelson accusations. So T. Colin Campbell is another figure in this controversy, best-selling vegan author and researcher, and Nelson refers to Jeff Nelson. So point 1 on this list, obviously I'm not going to read the entire article to you. Point 1 is the allegation that Dr. Fuhrman falsified data in his study published in 2008 to make himself and his diet look good. I'm going to quote this directly. I'm going to quote this verbatim. Quote, "Though I am very upset by the errors in the study, I had no role in the data entry, statistical analysis, or calculations. My role was to allow a researcher, Barbara Sarter, PhD, to review my patient charts around 2002. Here is a statement by Dr. Sarter, the lead researcher of this study. Quote, I conducted this chart review project as a completely independent, unfunded research activity while I was an associate professor at the University of Southern California. The research report was published in the journal Alternative Therapies in Health and Medicine with my name as first author." So this comes back as a controversy, right? There were allegations made about this. "With my name as first author, Dr. Campbell in the middle, and Dr. Fuhrman as third author." And now, as was established in Jeff's video, that was the agreed upon relationship, right? "Dr. Fuhrman played no role in the collection of the data or the analysis of the results." Right? Dr. Fuhrman was accused of putting Dr. Campbell's name first on the study, like that he switched it up later, that he later somehow, through subterfuge, switched to make it appear as if Dr. Campbell was the primary researcher of the study, whereas Campbell only agreed to have his name listed second. But guess what? This publication, they have a separate website, which is the archive of their past articles. And on the archive site, the names are simply listed in alphabetical order. And the letter C comes earlier in the alphabet than the letter F. So that was the mystery. So if you get the PDF of the actual study, you get the actual publication, the names are in the correct agreed upon order. But if you look it up on their archiving website, you get the names in alphabetical order. That's just their convention. That's, I guess, to make the names easier to find alphabetical order. Whatever it is. So I guess Sarter's name is less prominent. It's really tough being a scientist whose name starts the letter Z, I guess. That's Z for those of you from the United States of America. I happen to be Canadian, as you may or may not know. So they give you a screenshot of the physical copy of the 2008 journal and showing you the order of the names. Sarter first, then Colin Campbell, then Joel Fuhrman. And they claim that there's actually a faked screenshot that has changed the order of the names. Now, I am not going to back that up one way or another. The underlying issue is the confusion with alphabetical order used in the archive versus what the actual published document looks like. So there are other specific false claims here refuted. Jeff Nelson, Vegsource stated that Dr. Sarter was an intern paid by him, and that's not true. They go over the details of that. It's already really been covered what the financial and organizational situation was. Number 4 on this list, that the allegation that Dr. Fuhrman refused to retract the study from the journal when Dr. Campbell asked him to do so. So this is not true. He pulled his name off the study. He did not discuss this with me or give me options of how to handle this. That would have been a good idea. The fact is, I phoned Dr. Campbell and got him on the phone to try to ask him what else I could do to rectify the situation, period. He hung up the phone on me, period. I gotta say, Campbell, you agreed to have your name on this article as second author. And from all accounts, you did zero research. It sounds like you didn't even read the article. There's no one here thinking, this is on you, homeboy? You did something unethical and immoral? If I agreed to have my name on, even cited as having consulted on a Buddhist publication, I would have vetted the hell out of that. I would have read every word of that, and I would have yelled at the author to correct everything I disagreed with. My name appears in a couple of books on Buddhism, just like special thanks to, where it doesn't really tell you what I did. I actually wanted to make a video talking about that. There's one book where the whole chapter about Pali and Buddhism is completely derivative of my work, and I was paid. And it just says special thanks to, and you don't actually know I'm like the ghost author for that chapter. So sometimes your name appears and you did a lot of work. You really were a big influence. But in this case, it sounds like, Campbell was putting his name on this without having read it, and then years later you regretted it. Well, that's on you. You were supposed to have invigilated, at a minimum, and checked the quality of this. That would be why your name was on it, at a minimum. Or you could have been involved in designing the study or in the research in some other way. But it sounds like you had zero involvement, and now you got sour grapes, man. All right, point 6, the allegation that Dr. Fuhrman lied that the study result. Pardon me. The allegation that he lied about the results of the study in order to exaggerate the weight loss, etc., etc. So here's where the details get a bit muddy. Quote, all of my statements about the study outcomes were supported by the original as well as by the corrected data analysis. The number of subjects included was inaccurate by 1. That's very different from what Jeff Nelson claimed. Okay? It was inaccurate by 1. So it says here, I reported accurately what the study concluded in its original published report, which stated, quote, weight loss appeared to be sustained in those who returned for follow-up, close quote, and this was true. So again, there's a caveat there. Of those who returned for follow-up, however many that is who came back for follow-up, a lot of people maybe they didn't come back to follow-up, and they were the ones who had bad results. Furthermore, a review of the corrected data still substantiates that these patients of mine did not have significant weight regain, and my statement was not false. Here is Dr. Sartor's response based on her published erratum and reanalysis of the original data. So I just mentioned that also was not stated. Jeff presented this as if this article was a scam, and then it was snowed over or covered up, and that as if Dr. Fuhrman continued citing this. He did not give any weight to the fact that the author, who was most blameworthy, Dr. Sartor, actually made a big effort to go back and redo the analysis and correct the errors. That's part of the progress of science. That's part of the progress of medicine. Even if it was bad, okay, well, she deserves, he he deserves some credit for, we should really use gender-neutral pronouns. He deserves some credit for going back and making a sincere attempt to correct it, which the other coverage of this controversy did not recognize. Quote, I corrected these mistakes and submitted an erratum to the journal reporting that the actual mean weight loss of the group, so mean in this context is average, the average weight loss, the mean weight loss of the group of 18 who had a 2-year follow-up visit was 37.6 pounds. So only 18 people came back for the follow-up visit. I was already hinting at that being possibly a small number. So on average, they'd lost 37.6 pounds. The most significant weight loss occurred within the first year of follow-up for all participants. Out of the 18 people with 2-year data, none regained their original weight. At 2 years, 4 had regained 5 pounds or less, and 1 person in the study had a 10-pound regain from their lowest weight. So there you go. Significant regain would be defined as 10% of original baseline weight, and using this criterion, no one regained a significant amount after the original highly significant low. So no one regained back 10% of the weight. Now, can you say that Jeff was mistaken, or was this a lie? I'm going to leave it there. I'll give you guys the link to the article. Not all of the allegations made by Jeff are refuted here. His kind of more petty complaints about people making sarcastic comments beneath his YouTube videos who may or may not be linked to Dr. Fuhrman or may or may not be Fuhrman himself, on the very shaky basis that they both use the idiom, for every one finger that's pointed at you, there are three fingers pointed at. That's not covered here. I got to tell you, my experience with Jeff has been incredibly negative. A lot of people in the so-called vegan community, in the so-called vegan movement, have a really negative experience with Jeff. And, I'd like to believe he means well. I'd like to believe he's sincerely mistaken and not intentionally lying and deceiving people. I'd like to believe that he really cares about the future of the vegan movement and that he is not trying to create drama and controversy just for the sake of drama and controversy. Jeff, if you come out and make a video apologizing, it will be possible for me to believe that is true. You should make an apology. You should make a retraction, just like the doctor you criticized who had to come out with another study, a new analysis correcting the errors in the original analysis. And Jeff, in all the other controversies you were involved in, including your conflict with me, your conflict with Durian Rider, your conflict with quote-unquote Chantel Robin, the legal action you took against basically everybody promoting veganism on YouTube you possibly could in the so-called Chantel Robin terrorism, death threat, mystery affair, this whole crazy thing you made up. I don't remember you coming out and making an apology once. I don't remember you coming out admitting that you were wrong. And obviously, the case I know best is the one that involves me. Jeff, you were wrong. And you know you were wrong. And you know the adult thing to do would be to take responsibility, man up, and apologize. And I have seen you advising others to do that. And I've never seen you taking your own medicine. I've never seen you taking responsibility yourself. On that more scientific level, Jeff, if you go back and take a look at the diet you're promoting right now, the cure acne under all circumstances diet, the promises you're making, if you really go back and do a second edition, maybe you've got to check yourself, Jeff. Maybe there's some bro science in there. Maybe there's some wild leaps of inference. Like, oh yeah, in Okinawa, almost nobody has acne. Therefore, these laughable, unscientific leaps of inference like that, Jeff, that you use to support your diet, which has no resemblance to what people in Okinawa actually eat anyway. Jeff, if you could rise to the high standard you demand of Dr. Fuhrman, and that Dr. Fuhrman is here living up to, it would be a wonder to behold for one and all. Whether you did it in the sphere of YouTube drama, in the sphere of veganism as a political movement, or in the sphere of dietetics and nutrition. I'm in Bangkok, Thailand for 6 more days. Hit me up.